Okay, till now we have seen the elements of HSMS, right? We are still into that setting policy, organizing, planning, auditing, right? Now we are after auditing, we have entered into this corrective and preventive actions, right? Next, purpose and importance of setting policy for health and safety, right? In this, we will have certain questions like this. Outline the purpose of an organization's health and safety policy. Outline the typical content of the health and safety arrangements section of the HS policy. Outline circumstances that would require a health and safety policy to be reviewed, when it needs to be reviewed. All these things we will see, right? The question of the coming topics might be like this. Okay. Right. Role of HS policy in decision making. Here, provide direction for an organization. Provide direction for an organization. What does it mean? If you set a policy, right, it will direct the organization. It will take the organization in that way. Okay. To guide the organization to satisfy its aims and objectives, and to bind it so that it does not stray from the standards that it sets to meet the aims and objectives. So what does it mean? The policy is there to take the organization in a direction in order not to derail, right? In order to be on the track. For that reason, this policy is there. Okay. Yeah, to bind it so that to bind it means to confine it to that direction, so that it will not go away from the direction. It will not go away from the policy. It will bound. Yeah, right. We can say it will be bound. We can say. It will be bound to its own policy. Okay. Right. The needs of different organizations. What are the needs? These are the different needs. Like it differs in aims, risks, structures, and what they feel capable of committing themselves to. So these things will differ from organization to organization. What are these things? Aims, risks, structures, and what they feel capable of committing themselves to do. It will vary from organization to organization. Aim will not be same for all the organization. Aims and objectives will not be same for the organization, for all the organizations, right? It will vary from organization to organization. Next, risks. The risks will not remain same for all the organization. It will vary from activity to activity. It will vary from site to site. It will vary from premises to premises. It will vary from personnel to personnel. It will vary from the functioning of the organization, from one organization to another organization. Right? It will vary from the structures. It will vary from the flow chart. Like every organization has its own structure and hierarchy. Like manager to worker or CEO to worker, there is a different hierarchy for each and every organization. It will not be the same, right? Next, what they feel capable of committing themselves to do. So every organization can feel differently in this aspect. It is not necessary that all companies, all organizations has to feel that they have to do this one only, all the companies. No. Why? Because depending on their functionality, it will vary. It will differ. Some company may be some service catering company, some company may be construction company. So it will vary. The risks, the aims, right? All these things will vary. Okay. The policy enables to organize the organization to communicate its personal commitment, expectations from people, and approach to health and safety. What it needs to do, the policy, what the policy will do, the policy will enable, will make the company do something. What is that something? It will make the company to communicate its personal commitment to the employees. It will communicate, it will inform the employees about the policies of the company. Next, expectations from the people. The policy also expects the people, the employees, from the employees that they need to follow certain safety rules. All employees are expected to follow safety rules when they are present in the site or in the office or in the organization. So these kind of expectations. Employer will do certain things. At the same time, employer will also expect something to do from the employees. Okay, this is the second one. Third one, approach to health and safety. How to approach the health and safety? Just we need to follow the hierarchy, like eliminate, reduce, prevent, safe system. All those things we need to follow. Right. Key features and appropriate content of health and safety policy. Right. Again, here three main sections of an organization's health and safety policy and outline the purpose of each. Give reasons why the health and safety policy should be signed by the most senior person in an organization such as MD or CEO. Right. Here, these are the things. Effective HS policy should contain a policy. You might have seen policy. I will show you one sample. Right? Sample policy I will show you. So this is one of the simple policy. Right. Some XYZ company is there. Just I have downloaded this from the internet, right? Just to show some sample how a policy HS policy looks like. Right. The name of the company is Forward. Safety recognizes the need to meet all the legislative requirements and provide a safe workplace for its employees and contractors. Almost all the companies will have this type of policies. But whether it is being delivered or not, that is very important. All will have their policies mounted in their places, in their companies. Whether they are getting delivered or not, that is more important. So a policy looks like this. Okay? So it expects the employees also to do something. You can see here, all employees and contractors have a responsibility to adhere to all safety rules, policies, procedures, protocols, directives and instructions. They have to follow. This is what the company also expects from the employees and the contractors. They also should follow. If it is one-sided, it will be of no use. It will be from two sides, both employer as well as employee. Okay, and from the contractor. And you can see this. How it is signed by, it should be signed by the MD and date should be there. Okay. This is just one sample policy. Now you will understand better if we see the content here. What it should contain? It should contain what, who and how. These three things. We will see in detail what is this what. Okay, a general statement of management commitment states the overall aims of the organization in terms of health and safety performance. What is the aim of that particular company? It should be there mentioned. As we have seen, it ensures the health and safety of all the employees. This is the aim. We have seen in the sample, right? So it is the aim. Next, it details the details of the organization, defining structure, role, relationships and responsibilities of individuals. It also defines structure, like what is the hierarchy, some policies. It should contain the policy, health and safety policy should contain the structure also. Right? Protocols, we have seen the protocols, proper protocols, hierarchy. So it has to be followed. Right? Role, they have to do their roles, whoever is assigned to those tasks. So like supervisor is there, supervisor has to satisfy his role, manager has to satisfy his role, employee, the worker has to satisfy his role. Similarly, roles and relationships and responsibilities of the individuals. What is the responsibility of the individual? Has to follow the safety rules. Each and every individual has to follow the safety rules. Next, arrangements. How? By proper risk assessments and whatever it is, whatever the procedures they are following, all these things comes under HAL. Okay. The control assess arrangements to control the risks. How do you arrange to control the risks? So this also should be there in the policy, right? Expected to set the direction, scope and actions of an organization to manage HS. This part of the policy document specifies the arrangements for achieving general and specific aims for health and safety. So how you are doing? What are the measures you are taking to control the risks? What is the method you are approaching? That has to be mentioned briefly. Okay? So these are the things which are to be present in a policy. These are the contents of the policy. Right, we will see. Further, it is continued.
Yes, sir.
Right. To be effective, the policy should be in a number of formats, effectively communicated, revised as appropriate, monitored through audits. In a number of formats. In a number of formats, little bit here word jumbling is there, the word jargon is there. Like number of format, it should be in a proper format. In short, I can say it should be in a proper format. Right. Next, effectively communicated. It should be properly communicated. It should be displayed. It should reach to the employees also. All the employees also should know what the policy is telling. Properly communicated. Right. Revised as appropriate. It has to be revised whenever required. When a policy has to be revised, that there are certain conditions. We will see the conditions in the coming slides. When a policy has to be revised, that we will see. Okay. Next, monitored through audits. Audits is the only source which tells us that the policy is being delivered properly or not. Hence, audits are mandatory. You might have seen, like in all the companies, yearly audits are mandatory. Correct? I think all the companies are following this. Yearly audits are mandatory. Almost all the companies. Audits are mandatory. Why? Because they will fill the gap. If there is any gap, they will inform you. Then you can work out on that, and those NCRs to be closed. What is the meaning of closing NCR? You are fulfilling the gap. You are filling the gap. If there is any shortcoming, you are rectifying it. Correct? Right. Effectively communicated. This is also one more question we may expect from this. Right? The policy can be effectively communicated as follows. How can you communicate the policy to the workers or the employees? So these are the lists. Identify, then ask this question also. Identify the methods of communicating the policy, right? So you need to write all those things. Display on notice boards. You might have seen in many companies, almost all companies will display the policy in the notice boards. Correct?
Yeah.
During induction and training, during trainings and inductions, they need to inform them that the company is doing like this. For you people, you need to follow also, right? So this is what you need to communicate. This is another method of communication. Why? Because sometimes people may not understand the English. Correct? So for that reason, they need to be communicated in their local languages. In team briefing and toolbox talks also will be happening in many sites and companies, right? Before starting off the job, so TBT will be there, toolbox talks, right? Induction programs, training programs, and briefing. Before starting off certain work, briefing will be provided. So in that duration, the policy has to be, the policy related issues also has to be informed to them, right? Inserts in wage slips, salary slips. Generally people here, I think we don't get wage slips here. Insert, add. Wage slips, salary slips, pay slips, salary slips.
What insert?
Insert about the policy. Insert about the policy. So that the employee workers will know what is there in the policy. This is another method of communication.
In the policy, okay.
It is another method of communication. These are all the methods of communication. One is notice board, another is while training and induction, it has to be provided. Next, team briefing, TBT, in TBTs, right? and inserting in wage slips. Generally, here we don't have that system. Pay slips we don't have here,
Yeah.
like salary slips we don't have. But in other countries, it is there. Every month they will, most probably they will give, right, the salary slips. Or upon request, they can get the salary slips. Upon request, they can get the salary wage slips, or it is called as salary slips or wage slips. Right. Using newsletters, circulating the newsletters in the company also is one type of communication. Right. Posters like in many areas wherever people gather, right, or they will rest. In those areas, posters also will be provided. Right. Next, managers, supervisors can discuss with workforce. Directly, the managers and supervisors can also discuss with the workers or the employees. So that the policy has to be communicated to the employees. That is the main intention. These are the different methods to be followed. Okay. Okay. Fine. Reasons why so we have seen the ways of communication here in this slide. Next slide, why they are sometimes ineffective. Sometimes they will be ineffective, like you might have seen many employees do not know what the policy says.
It's not same question I asked.
Exactly. That's what I told you. It will
Yeah.
come. It will come in the slides.
But this general.
General. It is general. It is
Yeah.
general. Okay. Right. Reasons why HS standards. There it is standards. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. HS policies become ineffective. Why? Because of these reasons. What are they? No commitment from management. We are telling we need to set the policy, we need to communicate the policy to the employees, right? Sometimes it will not be effective. Why? These are the reasons. What is the meaning of effective? It will not be effective means it is of no use. Only wall mounted, just for the namesake it is fixed, and then people are doing as their own, as they like, and management is also not involved, and management is also not caring about the employees. So this is called as ineffective, right? Ineffective policies. Policies are there, but it is of no use. So these are some of the reasons. No commitment from management, no annual objectives, no commitment from management. Management is not at all caring. No commitment from the management, right? No annual objectives. No annual objectives. In this year, this is my objective. In the next year, this is my objective. This is the company's objective. So they don't have any objectives. Then they will not travel in the direction.
No targets.
No targets, exactly. No proper targets, no proper goals, no proper aims. So this is another reason why the policies will go ineffective. Right? Next, HS health and safety not given top priority. This is usually we see this problem in many companies. Right?
Right.
Many companies. They don't give the priority to the health and safety department at all. In many companies there is no health and safety department at all. They will just select one person, they will designate him HSC officer, khalas, that is the department. So this is happening still in UAE, in famous cities or countries like UAE, still it is happening. So this is one of the topmost, one of the I can say, one of the good countries we can say, right? So here also some companies are not following. Right, insufficient resources, like the company is very tight in releasing the resources like money, the training room, etc. They don't want to waste the workers' time. This is also, they are stopping many things.
Yeah, sometimes they interfering in the work rest time.
Rest area, exactly. Conducting trainings in the rest time.
Yeah.
Like 12 to 3 confined space training, 12 to 3 scaffolding training. It happens.
Yeah.
Why? They don't want to stop the productivity. They don't want to go for a loss. They feel that it is a loss, whereas it is not the loss. There are a lot of benefits for that. People do not recognize those benefits. Right. Staff does not understand aims. The staff, they don't understand the aims and objectives of the company. Emphasis only on employee responsibility. Right.
What is the meaning of impact?
Sorry.
Impact.
Emphasis, focusing, right? Focusing or streamlining, we can say, right? Emphasis only on employee responsibilities. This person is a scaffolder. He has to do scaffolding from the day one to till he resigns. Finished. There is no rest for him. There is nothing provided to him. This is what he has to do. Only his responsibility is to do the job. That's it. Nothing. No breaks. Nothing. This is what
Not another problem.
This is what the people feel, whereas it is not correct. Because of this also the policy will go ineffective. Correct? You are telling something, ensuring the safety of all the employees. What is the safety you are providing? Ensuring the morale of the employees. What morale you are providing? Right? So lack of performance measurement. Lack of performance measurement. Like performance measurement, company is going on track, right? People are not measuring it, whether it is on the right track or wrong track.
Who is working good or who is not working good?
Recognizing, no proper recognition, that is also one of the reasons for ineffective policy, right? Lack of awareness, people don't know about many things of the company. There is no transparency. This is also another reason why the policy will go ineffective. And finally, no trainings are provided.
But in Group we have all.
Have all?
Not trained. Is it a-
Group is very good company. I realize that.
Many companies follow, many companies don't follow, right?
Here policy, but here they ask for health and safety culture.
Culture, yes.
Same?
Culture, you can relate, yes.
You can?
You can relate, yes. Culture. Okay? Fine. Overall aims of the organization in terms of its performance, right? So, policy, again, still we are sticking on to policy only. Why? Because this element is purely based on policy. Next element on organization. So, totally there are 5 elements, right? Policy, organizing, planning and implementing, many are there, right? Right. Still we are in policy. Right. The health and safety policy should clearly set out the aims of the organization in terms of HS performance, establishing a statement of intent. Statement of intent should be very clear. What is the statement of intent? That we will see in the next slide. So it should be very clear. The statement of intent of a policy should be very clear. What should be there in the statement of intent? So there are many things that we will see. This is about the some theoretical part which says that we need to follow the international and national standards. I will just skip this. Right?
Yeah.
These are the international standards we need to follow. National standards like COPs, international standards like ILO, HASWA, many international standards are there. International Labour Organization, ILO. There are many conventions, some numbers also will be provided. So these numbers will be, these references will be useful for your project. Right? While doing GC3, these reference numbers like for with respect to ILO, COPs, these will be advantageous for you. Okay? Right. This is what policy intent. The policy element is concerned with intent. Statement of intent. What is to be done? What should be done? Organization. Who is responsible? Arrangements. How it is to be achieved. We have seen. Again, we are streamlining the same thing in short. We have seen all these things.
This is the same thing we did before.
Yes, that's what I am telling you. Before we have seen many theory things about that. That has been precisely put into 3 things. Statement of intent. What is to be done? Like we have seen in the policy also, sample policy also. What is to be done? Ensure the quality of the product or services. This is one more exam question we can expect, right? So the policy element is concerned with intent. Statement of intent. What is to be done? Organization. Who is responsible? Who is responsible? In the organization, you will have the hierarchy from top level to bottom level, right? From CEO, owner of the company to the employee. So many things are there in between, right? Who is responsible for what? So that also should be provided. Arrangements. So what you are doing to provide the proper health and safety, quality health and safety, what you are doing. So that you need to mention in brief how it is achieved, right? So these are the three things which are to be present in the intent, policy intent.
Sir, the word intent, what does it mean?
Intent, what we can say, intent. Expected, what is to be expected, we can say.
Aim and goals. Aim.
Aim
and goals.
aim and intention.
Intent.
What is your intention? From intention, it is intent.
Yes.
Intent, what is your
From intention, yes, intent has been received. Now clear?
Yes.
Right. What is the intention of the policy, we can say.
Yeah.
Right. The statement of intent, it communicates the importance of and commitment to health and safety, again repeated. It is signed by most senior person like owner, MD or CEO. It is inspirational in tone, it should be motivational, policy should be very motivational, right? Inspirational, right? It recognizes the roles played by those at all levels within the organization. So whoever is assigned with the responsibility, they have to play their role very perfectly. Okay, right. This is outlined why it is important that all persons in an organization are aware of their roles and responsibilities for health and safety. What is the need to have the awareness? What is the need to have the awareness? Just in short, what is the meaning, right? We'll see. The organization, who is responsible, what are they responsible for, who is the person with ultimate responsibility, what are their specific responsibilities. So these are to be clearly mentioned. Who is responsible for what?
For HSC policy.
For HSC policy. Exactly. Who is responsible? Like we don't have much HSC department, so we don't know. In general, there should be HSC department. So if it is there it should be clearly defined who is responsible for what, right? And what are their responsibilities? They are responsible for what?
Their role.
Their roles, right, to be played. Who is the person with ultimate responsibility, like HSC engineer or advisor or manager or what? Okay, next, what are their specific responsibilities, like training, compliance monitoring, competent persons, accident reporting. These all things are to be followed. Trainings, compliance monitoring. Compliance monitoring, what is the meaning here? Training, we all know, training. Compliance monitoring, follow the law, whether you are following those standards and rules and regulations or not. Comply or not. Next, competent persons, whether people, those who are doing their jobs, are they competent enough? Are they skilled? Are they experienced? Do they have the knowledge?
Better than others. Better than others.
Better than other. So whether they know the work or not,
Competition.
whether they are competent enough, the skills, they have the skills. Like for example, some person is there working with the scaffolding. He is let us consider he is doing for the first time. He don't know what to do. So then what happens? He will definitely get injured. Whether the person is competent or not, that person is not competent. So select the competent people.
Accident report.
Right? Finally, accident reporting. Accident, we can say instead accident, here it can be incident reporting. It can be mentioned as incident reporting. It not necessarily be accident. Any near miss, any accident, any incident, any event has to be reported. Even near miss also has to be reported. Okay? Right. We can express the organization of health and safety with the help of an organization chart which shows the lines of communication and feedback loop. Right? It is also necessary to monitor the effectiveness of the policy and the practices used to achieve it. General points. right? Still it is considered, here, this section of the policy gives employees the opportunity to clearly identify typical duties such as employees should follow the safety rules such as ensure their own health and safety and that of other worker. Their own employees should take care of their own health and safety and their colleagues, the other workers also. Next, cooperate with the employer by following the safety rules. This is the second one. Next, follow health and safety instructions. Whatever is being instructed, wear PPE, you should wear PPE, right? No smoking, no one should smoke. So these type of safety rules are to be followed. Next, wear PPE where it is provided. Report accidents, incidents, ill health, everything. Report hazards and defects in risk control measures. Report hazards. If you feel that there is a hazard, you need to report. The employee, the worker should report it. And if the worker feels that the existing risk controls are not up to the mark, that also has to be reported. Like what is the existing risk controls? Like maybe they are the employees that they have barricaded the area and they are doing some work. One control measure is followed. It's good. But apart from that, any other control measure is required or not? Like training is required. Any other thing is PP, whatever PP is provided, is that enough? If it is not enough, report it. They don't know the work, report it. They need training, report it. Right? Sometimes more than one control measure is required to do a task. Like permits are required. Right? So you need to report. So what type of activity, depending on the activity. Arrangements, right? Okay, shall we continue in the afternoon? Still, we have almost 10 slides.
Finish.
So we'll finish it? Right.
10 slides.
Yeah. 10 slides are there. So just go ahead, very small, important things are there, right? But easy to understand things are there. Right, arrangements. In the policy, we need to mention the arrangements. How to approach. We have seen in the intent 3 things, right? What, who, and how. The how, arrangements. How do the organization arrange for health and safety, right? Specifies the arrangements for achieving general and specific aims for health and safety, right? General aims. Usually a lengthy manual, therefore it is often separate from the policy document. It also includes monitoring compliance and assessing the effectiveness of the arrangements. Generally, there will be a manual also, which is separate from the policy document, which is wall mounted. That is a different, and manual will be there. That is a different thing. Okay, policy manual, and it has to be followed according to the rules and regulations. Follow the law, in short. Okay, right. Here, these are the general arrangements. In policy, you are mentioning arrangements are to be done. What type of arrangements you are doing? You have to mention it. These are some of the general arrangements. What are they? Allocation of finance for H&S. Each and every health and safety department has to be allocated with some amount. What is the need for the amount? What is the need for money? Is there the health and safety department needs some money? No need, no?
They
Need
need a lot.
for purchasing health and safety.
For?
Equipment like purchasing.
Equipment will, the company will take care. PPE, yes, for the sake of PPE, okay,
Training.
that's it. Training, exactly. Training is another thing. The resources required for the training, and many things are there. We will see in the coming slides. So that is the first thing, allocation of finance, allocation of money to the department. Next, planning, what type of planning is involved, right, for the arrangements. Next, organizing control of hazards like risk assessments. You can see this is highlighted, risk assessments, which is very, very mandatory. If any safety practitioner is there, the safety practitioner should know what is risk assessment and how it is done. This is so important. Risk assessments are very, very important. Okay. Consultation procedures, communication, accident reporting and investigation, hazard reporting, monitoring, compliance. These are all general points, right?
Consultation procedures, what is this?
Consultation procedures. How do you consult? Consultation, consulting
Procedure, huh?
procedures. So, what type of consultation you are doing? Like, for example, if you want to go for third party verification of any equipment, right? Any equipment is a third party certification is required. So then it also requires some amount, so which is there in finance, which is released already. So which that's a topmost one, right? Consultation, consulting also should be done in the proper procedures. Communication, we all know. Accident reporting, incident reporting again, right? And investigation and hazard reporting. Again, the general point, common point, right? Monitoring, compliance, monitoring with respect to the law, whether COPs are being followed or not, right? What is COP?
Yeah, code of practice.
Code of practices, the local law here. The legal sections, we can say COPs, but many are there. Like in many countries, every country will have code of practices with different names. We can say in some countries penal codes are there, right? Penal codes, and in maybe in many your country what
COP.
COPs in Sudan also COPs or India IPC, Indian Penal Code, right? In Pakistan, I don't know. PPC, Pakistan Penal Code. Nepal?
NBC. Nepal getting
Okay, right. Okay. Specific arrangements like for hazards such as those relating to electricity, fire, maintenance, manual handling, stress, substances, transport, working at height, work equipment, all these things one by one we will see in IGC 2. Electrical safety we will see, fire safety one element, electrical safety one element, biological hazards one element, and how to control the risks, right? Manual handling a part of the element, stress, psychological disorders, biological and psychological disorders, last element, right? Transport, another element. So there are 8 elements in IGC 2. We will see in detail what exactly each element speaks, right? Specific arrangements are to be provided for these type of hazards. Is it clear?
Okay.
Right. So when you need to review a policy has to be reviewed. When? For example, in 2005, some policy has been designed, framed, and it should be like that till end.
No, sir.
So it has to be reviewed. When it has to be reviewed?
When growing staff.
When growing staff, when changes occurs.
Changes, changing.
Correct?
Increasing.
Still there are many things. You can see this. The reviewing of a policy, a number of circumstances may lead to a need to review the policy, like for example, the passage of time, even no changes are there, much time has passed away, again it has to be reviewed. Next, some new technology has been introduced in the company, again the policy has to be changed or reviewed. Changes in organization, if there are any what you can say, company has been changed from one area to another area, shifting, change of the premises, like management change. Also,
Staff change.
you need to staff change. Definitely, you need to go for review of the policy. Next, legal changes. Maybe some new COPs are introduced or new international laws has been introduced. Then again, you need to go for review. Monitoring results. Depending on the monitoring results, monitoring is to be done constantly. Right? Depending on the results of the outcome of the monitoring, we need to change the policy also sometimes. Okay? Following a major accident, if major accident has occurred, definitely and immediately you need to go for review of the policy, because whatever has been existing as the part of the control measure was not enough. Hence, the accident has occurred. For that reason, we should go for review of the policy. Major accident.
Production, we can say that production, decrease in production.
Production, if there is any change in the system of work, also you need to review the policy. Okay? Right. It is again, it is there. It is continued here. Other examples like, as I told you, right, changes in materials, premises, work patterns, right, following enforcement action, regular reviews, etc. Following enforcement action, what does it mean? Following enforcement action, like some inspection has been done by the enforcement bodies, authorities.
You have to follow that.
If they give some warning letters, any other steps, any other precautions they advise, they suggest, or they strongly recommend, they give warning letters sometimes, depending on that, we need to review the policy. Okay?
Yes.
Right. Next, regular review. A regular review has to be done also, even though there are no changes. Standards and guidance relating to HS policies. There are, as I told you, internationally there are different standards. So we'll just have a glance about that. Okay, these are international standards, right? HASWA, Malaysian Occupational Safety and Health Act, OSAS 18002 guidance. Here you see 18002, it's a guidance. 18001 is a certification. OSAS 18001 is a certification, you can do the certification. But I can't say I am 18002 certified, no. It is wrong. 18002 is a guidance. It will guide you. There are some instructions, it will guide you. Right? International Labour Organization guidelines on OHMS, right? HSG 65. So these are some of the international bodies which have defined and framed. Okay? So with this we conclude here, right? If you have any questions you can ask.
No, sir.
So in the afternoon we will go with element 3. We will start the element 3 and we will try to, it is little bit lengthier than this one. We will try to start and we will try to finish it today itself, the element 3. Okay?
Sir, it was not lengthy.
Which one? This one? This is short when compared to the organization.
It is also
Right?